We have that banking conclave coming up on the 2nd and 3rd, and ahead of that, Mrs. Bhattacharya, Arundhati Bhattacharya, the chairman of State Bank, is joining us. Mrs. Bhattacharya, thank you very much. Here's wishing you a very happy 2015. But straight away to the most important question, which you must have thought of several times. What are you expecting from this meeting in terms of the low-hanging fruits, the easier things to change in the way PSU banks are governed?
Actually, at the meeting, I think for the first time, somebody is asking the patient what is wrong with it. We have had a lot of people opining on what should be done and what is wrong with the public sector. The public sector banks themselves have never been asked. So I think that is the first major reaction that we had, a feeling of delight at the fact that we ourselves get to speak for the first time. And frankly, because we are insiders, we actually know what are the pain points and what could possibly be done. So to that extent, this is a great initiative where we ultimately will be in a position to say what are the things that we need. Now, if you ask me what are the areas that we are going to talk about, I think the areas have been very well chosen by the ministry. So we'll be talking things on, say, stuff like HR, asset quality, risk management, capitalization, financial inclusion, your other areas like consolidation. So all of these are subjects that are going to be discussed. So to that extent, I think it's going to be pretty broad coverage.
Ms. Bhattacharya, good morning. Would you all ask for more debt recovery tribunals or for any changes in the law? Exactly what kind of help would you be requesting for?
Actually, both of the things that you talked about, we have already asked for them quite some time back. Definitely we need more debt recovery tribunals. Not only that, we need more appellate tribunals as well. Regarding the change of law, we have also asked about that, and it was the first thing that I had requested the new FM when he had taken office and he had met us. So definitely change in law is required, especially we need a good bankruptcy law in India. So we have asked for change of law. However, all of this we also need to ensure its proper execution. I think just recently, CAFRAL, which is the research arm of RBI, they had a meeting of all the heads of the DRTs, the presiding officers, as well as people from the banks. And they in their turn have pointed out several things which could be done to make the process faster. So I think, this collaborative form of working that we are seeing, this is a very welcome change. Hopefully, if all of us feel the need for change, it will happen.
Okay. Well, the tenures of chairmen, we understand, are under discussion. The discussion is that they should be lengthened. Will you be raising that as an issue? I mean, it doesn't affect you, but will you be raising it as an issue?
Definitely, I think this is something that we need to ask for. Not only that we have a longer tenure for the chairman, but also in respect of the very top echelons, that when we know the dates of retirements, people must be positioned early enough in order to ensure a proper taking over and handing over, and that we don't have the kind of vacancies that we are seeing at this point of time. Vacancies can be very disruptive, and uncertainty is even worse. So I think these things need to get taken care of, and definitely it will be one of the things that we will discuss.
Okay, will you ask for more lateral hiring, and even if they allow it, do you think it's possible, partly because of union power? What HR issues will you highlight, and how are you seeing them being answered?
Actually, we cannot hire laterally beyond a particular point. So we are cognizant of the fact, being in the public sector, we have to advertise every single vacancy, and then ensure that we go through a process which enables anybody who's interested to come in. So it's difficult right now to say what will be the solution for this. But again, this is one of the areas where definitely I'm sure there will be a lot of discussion. And let us see if we can come out, at least, if not across the board, but at least, if we are allowed a certain percentage of hires that can come laterally at market rates for regular employment, then that will be a big step forward. So let us see whether we can come up with a solution, which may help us and yet not be against the spirit of employment, providing employment opportunity to all.
Okay, Mrs. Bhattacharya, the Nayak committee had wanted to move away, actually repeal the Banking Regulation Act altogether and move all banks under the Companies Act. Will you be raising it? Because, this can mean a lot of independence for the companies, more independent directors. Do you expect it to be raised?
So this suggestion is something that can only work in the medium term. As you know, these also need something of a holding company if you've got to set it up and move the banks away from the Banking Regulation Act. It means scrapping several laws. Not only the Bank Nationalization Act, but also the SBI Act and the SBI Subsidiary Banks Act. So it means replacing 3 acts. Now, replacing 3 acts is not something that can happen in the short term. It obviously needs a longer period of time. But definitely, some amount of movement on this, or at least we can try and ascertain the government's comfort with these ideas. So this is something that definitely will be also discussed, but it's not something that I see happening in this next 1 year.
But you expect it could be raised, the issue could be raised?
I'm sure it will be raised.
All right. Well, one of the big bugbears for public sector banks is political interference, ma'am. Political interference has certainly handicapped a lot of you bankers. Will that be brought up at all? Will you look for some buffers against it?
Frankly, what kind of buffer would be there, I'm not too sure, means what we are talking about over here. And at the end of the day, it's up to each of the banks to sort of stand up and do what is required to be done. The biggest thing that can be a buffer is to have a board of very good quality. I think with that you will see much better corporate governance, and that is probably something that we should aim for.
Okay, well, we are all hoping, of course, that the non-executive chairman will provide that, but we have to wait and see how those appointments happen. Well, finally, before we let you go, a last comment on what concrete do you expect from the meeting?
One last sentence. What I want from this session is basically, that itself is being given, that we should be heard. And then once we are heard, probably we would like to see action on some of the things that we point out. I don't want to say one thing above the other, but I definitely feel that this is a great initiative, because at least it gives us a forum to be heard, and that itself is a major step in the right direction. And I also want to take this opportunity to wish all of your viewers the very best in the new year, especially to my colleagues in the banking industry and to my own colleagues in my own bank. Very happy new year to all of you. And again, as I said, we all have our hopes which are pretty high for the coming year, and I hope when we end the year we'll be able to say that our hopes have all been met. Thank you.
That's a great wish. Thank you, Mrs. Bhattacharya, for joining us, and you have a great 2015.